Good morning, America. This is Channel 5 News, and today we will be talking about research we have gathered to figure out whether or not your health affects your GPA.
That's right, Jake. We have found some pretty interesting information about the correlation between health and GPA. Tell them our research questions.
Our first survey question was, what is your GPA, your current GPA? Secondly, in an average school week, how many hours of sleep do you get? Our third question was, how many times a week do you eat breakfast? Our fourth question was, what is your gender? Fifth question, how many times on an average do you exercise in a given week? And our final question was, which of the following best describes how much consideration goes into what you eat for breakfast on an average school day? And our answer choices were, I don't eat breakfast, little, some, and a lot.
To dig a little deeper into the what is your GPA question, we decided to find out what the average was, which it was 3.4. Also, the standard deviation, which is a measure of how spread out the numbers are, is 0.547. In the 5-number summary, the minimum is 2.5, the Q1 is 2.95, the medium is 3.6, Q2 3.86, the maximum is 4.3, and the range was 1.8.
Wow, Connor, that seems like a lot of random numbers. What does it even mean?
Well, out of all the people that we surveyed, the person with the lowest GPA had a 2.5, and the person with the highest had a 4.3, while the person in the middle of all the people had a 3.6. In the average of all the people that we surveyed, their GPAs turned to average 3.4. Why don't you tell us about how many hours of sleep students get in a school week, Jake?
Okay, Connor. Students average about 35.4 hours of sleep per week. The standard deviation of that is 6.74. Our 5-number summary was the minimum X is 20, Q1 was 30, the medium was 35, Q2 was 40, and the maximum X was 49. Our range was 29.
Can you tell us more about the 5-number summary for that, Jake?
Sure, Connor. The minimum X was the least amount of hours someone that we surveyed slept in a week, which was 20. The maximum X was the most amount of hours someone slept in a week, which was 49. And the range was the difference between the two, so 49 minus 20, which is 29. We just discussed hours of sleep per week and GPA. Now we're going to talk about whether or not they correlate. Connor, do you think they do?
Well, I think that if somebody got a lot of hours of sleep, then they'd be really well rested, and they would probably do better in school with all that much sleep.
Well, that is incorrect, and here's why. As you can see, surprisingly, hours of sleep and GPA have no correlation. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm shocked.
Me too.
Let's ask a random person how many days a week they exercise to see where they would fit into our data. Hello, sir? Hello. My name's Connor, and I'm from Channel 5 News. Can I ask you a quick question?
Absolutely.
How many days a week do you exercise?
About 5 times a week.
Interesting. 17 people out of the people we interviewed exercise 5 times a week. That is the most out of any of them, with the second most being 7, and the least being 1. Jake, can you tell the people about what we have found out about how much people eat for breakfast?
Sure, Connor. Out of the 49 people that we interviewed, 21 of them said that they eat some for breakfast, which was 31% of the people. 9 of them said a lot, which was 13%, and 9 of them also said none, which is 13%. And the most amount of people, which was 29, said that they eat a little, which was 43% of the people.
Next, we will compare the GPAs of boys versus girls. Alec, can you put the box and whisker plot on the screen for us?
Absolutely.
As you saw, it appears that girls get a higher GPA than boys, with the person with the highest GPA out of all the people we surveyed being a girl and the person with the lowest being a boy. Even though in general we can't say that girls get a higher GPA than boys, out of the people we surveyed, I believe it's safe to say that girls in the survey got a higher GPA than the boys.
This is our histogram. You are going to see where most people's GPAs fall.
As you can see, not surprisingly, most people fall between 3 and 4 with their GPAs, with less people between 2.5 and 3, which is what I would have guessed.
This was Channel 5 News. I'm Jake.
I'm Connor.
And good night, America.